Okay, so today is the 14th of December 2020, and it marks the day the AHPRA actually updated the AHPRA advertising guidelines, section 133. So I think the last time they updated was 2014, right? And so it's been 6 years. So this video is about just giving you guys some information on what was updated. Overall, I thought the update was just a lot of minor tweaks to clarify things. There wasn't any big material changes. So just a quick recap. The 5 sort of important guidelines is that number 1, you are not allowed to obviously mislead or have deceptive advertising. So things like our servers can cure cancer. Probably something that's not allowed. Second one is whenever you have gifts or discounts, you have to make sure you have the terms and conditions clearly stated on your website or your other channels. So, for example, expiry dates, not redeemable for cash, etc., etc. The third one is testimonials, and this is probably the biggest one. What is the definition of a testimonial versus review, and what is allowed, like the clinical things versus customer service. So you are not allowed to have testimonials on the channels that you have control over. The fourth one is the unreasonable expectation of beneficial treatment. So once again, similar to the cancer comment I mentioned before, you don't want to raise the expectation and that they would not then come to you for service that you can't meet. And lastly, encouraging the unnecessary use of your health services. So, in dental industry, checkup and clean every 6 months is sort of, common. But other services where you try to encourage them to come to use your service might not be allowed. And if we use the dental treatment, for example, if you say, root canal, come and do root canals, that's probably not needed. Then that's not allowed advertising. So if you do breach these rules, you get a $5,000 fine as an individual, or $10,000 fine as an organization. And what I'll do is probably go through some of the steps some of the changes to the guideline from the previous, right? So if you don't have time to read through the whole document, these are the summaries. So that basically there's more content about what is constituted as testimonials. What are some of the protected titles? For example, when you claim to be a doctor, if you're a chiropractor, you might have to put in a chiropractor behind the doctor title. Protected titles, claim about the registration, where you got your registration from, completeness and qualifications. Now, the second one is new content about the evidence required to claim about the effectiveness of the regulated health service and what is acceptable evidence. So things like obviously in the health medical industry, double-blind test, there's a lot of rigorous sort of standards that you need to meet. So whenever you're referring sources, right, you have to make sure that source is valid before you make any claims. Third one, just restructuring of the content so that information is easier to find. It's a pretty long document, so they obviously restructure it a little bit easier to understand, and then you've got the index to read through it. And lastly, just adding flowcharts so that you can understand what's acceptable, what's considered a testimonial, etc. All that being said, it's obviously really important that if you're a health medical industry under the AHPRA guideline, I think there's 14 professions under that, that you do find a digital agency that understands the guidelines so that they can do your marketing for you, whether it's us or other agencies, because without that, if they just apply the general rule of thumb in terms of advertising, they might use things like collect data for ebook and get testimonials on your website. I actually seen, because we do quite a few audits, and we do see a lot of illegal activities that the health medical practitioners use, and sometimes it's not really their fault. It's just they don't understand enough. They just handball that to the agencies to do the work, and sometimes they're just a bit blinded to the whole thing. So yeah, important to find someone who understands, and then the last thing you want to do is get good number of patients and then get a letter from AHPRA. And speaking of which, we've done videos in the past of what are the AHPRA sort of warning procedures, and I think this workflow will tell you that as well. So we'll post a link below if you want to refer to these documents and what was changed. So yeah, give us a call if you want us to give you an audit, or if you actually receive some kind of a warning from AHPRA. We'll do our best to help. And yeah, just comment on below. Thank you.